Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to the summit session on accessibility services at ALS United Greater New York. These services have a tremendous impact on persons with ALS and their families. My name is Christine Dunn, and I will be the moderator for this session. Presenting today will be three people you will want to get to know. They are going to provide an overview of the range of accessibility services we provide, and we will have a question and answer session at the end of the presentation. We will first hear from our accessibility specialist, Tejal Parikh, on the Home Accessibility Assessment Program. Then we will have Aaron Young, our Equipment Loan Coordinator, present on our Equipment Loan Program. We will then hear from Ben Lehman, who heads the Accessibility Services, who will speak about assistive technology and communication. Thank you for joining us, and Tejal, you're up.
Thank you, Chris, for the introduction. And good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for joining us today for our session on the accessibility services of ALS United Greater New York. My name is Tejal Parikh, and I am the accessibility specialist with ALS United Greater New York. I am also an occupational therapist. I have been a part of the ALS clinic at the Rutgers Robert Wood Johnson University Hospital in New Brunswick, New Jersey for the past 9 years. Today, the focus of our presentation will be on the accessibility services that we provide through our organization. Our home accessibility services cover 4 main areas that we will be overviewing today. I will be presenting on home accessibility through modification in and outside of your home. Aaron, who is our equipment loan coordinator, will explain our equipment loan program, and Ben will review our ability to help with assistive technology and communication. Each of these areas are a part of a larger system within our care services department. We work closely with our colleagues, people living with ALS, and their families to create solutions. We are a team effort. Our home accessibility services are a bridge between clinic visits. We can help expand and explain the recommendations made by your clinicians on the team. We help by providing equipment from our equipment loan program, and we can further educate and explain how to use assistive technology. Oftentimes during a video call, families will remark that this is my first time. And I want you to know that this is why we are here. Our accessibility services act as a guide for you and your family as you navigate this disease process. We can lead you through the process of making the modification, with providing insight and creative solutions of using your current space that you might not have considered. It is important to note that these are not skilled therapy sessions, not skilled occupational or physical therapy sessions. However, if questions or concerns arise during our discussions, we are able to reach out to your team to help clarify the specific concerns that you might have. So today, my focus will be on home access services. My role is to help you determine what modifications are possible for you for your home, inside and outside. These conversations can occur with you and or your caregiver. So the process of a home assessment begins with a referral. Often the referrals are initiated after a clinic visit or a home visit completed by a team member. However, sometimes the referral comes directly from you, reaching out with questions regarding your home setup. Other times, a referral will arise during a conversation with Ben or Aaron when discussing equipment or assistive technology. Regardless of where it comes from, we are happy and ready to assist you. During our initial conversation, we'll set up an appointment with you Currently, and since the start of the pandemic, we have been completing these home assessments virtually, either via FaceTime or a Zoom link. We find that our virtual walkthroughs allow us to cover more ground and help more people. We are able to schedule the visits quickly, and the virtual aspects allow us to be flexible with scheduling times. For our virtual walkthroughs, we request that you or your caregiver have a measuring tape handy, so that way we can better provide you with the recommendations. Our role is to provide you with the insight and information prior to you speaking with vendors. We want to give you the verbiage of how to have a conversation and what to expect when working with the vendors. If we are helping evaluating your home for a ramp or for a vertical platform lift, we can provide you with the list of vendors that we have worked with and who we are familiar with, and they are familiar with our process as well. For following their formal evaluations, we can help you review the estimations and the renderings. So I do want to say that through the advocacy and fundraising efforts, we are able to provide grants to offset the costs of these home access projects, specifically ramps and vertical platform lifts. For further information about grants, you can reach out to me or Ben, as well as your care services coordinator. We do have a grant specialist, Angelica, who can also walk you through the process and provide you with better information. So when considering modifications, I always suggest, and I ask my families, and I'll ask them to say, why are these changes? Why do you want to make these changes, right? We find that our home assessments can provide creative solutions for your home living space. We can help you address the concerns that you have for limited space or how to better utilize a room in your home. I do want to say that it is important to consider the time and urgency of the modifications. Keep in mind that the home construction projects can be time consuming between finding a contractor and getting the work completed. In clinic, we will often ask our families to be proactive versus reactive to change. We find that when you have made modifications earlier in the disease process, whether it be a bathroom or adding a ramp, it makes the transition to using a device like a walker or a wheelchair or a rolling shower chair that much easier. We try to guide our families in regards to functionality and keeping the changes practical. However, I cannot stress enough the importance of keeping a flexible mindset to be open to different options and ideas in order to promote safety and functionality. So in regards to home access, creating a safe access in and out of your home can allow a person with ALS attend important family events, spend more time outside of the home, go to medical appointments, and in case of emergency, have a safe exit from the home. During a home access virtual walkthrough, we want to consider the different doorways that lead in and out of your home. Sometimes we find a solution for the side door versus the actual front door. So in regards to ADA, for private homes, we don't have to follow ADA guidelines. We tend to use their guidelines as a tool for safe home access. So for example, if someone was using a manual wheelchair that was being pushed by a caregiver, if we find that the slope of a ramp is too steep, it will require greater effort by the caregiver to push the wheelchair up the ramp. But also require greater effort by the caregiver to pull the wheelchair back as you descend the ramp. So the ADA recommends that a safe slope for a ramp is that for every inch of vertical rise, there would be 1 foot or 12 inches of a ramp. So for example, if there are 4 steps and each of the 4 steps are 7 inches high, there should be a 28-foot ramp. It's not always that simple, but it's a good way to understand how the ramp proportions work. The ramps that we recommend are what we call modular ramps, which means that they fit together similar to puzzle pieces or like Lego pieces. They are temporary in the sense that they can be taken apart when you no longer want to use the ramp, but permanent in the sense that you're going to keep it in place and not take it apart at the end of the day when you don't want to use it. They are installed to withstand 500 to 600 pounds, so the weight of a custom power wheelchair essentially. And generally, they can be installed pretty quickly, like within a week or two. So take a look at this house. A similar house like this in New Jersey would probably cost $2 million. No, I'm kidding. I know the price of housing is a different story, but so this is an example of a house, and I wanted to take a look at it to do a sample of how a ramp would look for this house. So there are 4 steps to enter the patio of the home. As you can see, the bottom step is slightly shorter than the top 3 steps. So the bottom step is 5 inches and the top 3 steps are 7 inches. So the total height of the patio and of the steps, the vertical height, is 26 inches. So essentially, we would need a 26-foot ramp according to the ADA guidelines, right? So for every inch of rise, there would be 1 foot of ramp. Fortunately for this home, there is no step at the doorway. So we wouldn't need a platform at this doorway. The patio width is 4 feet and the length of the patio is 20 feet long. This is important to consider when maneuvering an assistive device like a wheelchair or a walker. We want to ensure that there's enough space to turn the device. So in this case, there is enough space. So for this home, the driveway is to the left side of the home, and the walkway leading straight down from the steps leads to a curb onto the street, which would not be a safe transition off of using either a wheelchair or a walker, or to really step off to have a ramp at the curb onto the street. So this is going to be a sample of how a ramp might look like for this home. There would be a shorter segment of the ramp leading from the patio down towards a turning platform, which then you would turn towards the driveway, and the ramp would lead towards the driveway. This project is fairly uncomplicated as there's no sloping of the yard and there's ample space on the property to place the ramp. Generally, we would not recommend that the ramp end in the middle of a yard or onto grass. We would want to make sure that the ramp would transition safely onto the driveway. Sometimes, like in this situation, a ramp may not be a possible solution for a multitude of reasons, including lack of property space or because of significant sloping of the property. So this is one and why we would consider a vertical platform lift. So a vertical platform lift is an elevator, is an outdoor elevator used to transport someone from one level to another. There are several things to consider when evaluating the possibility of a vertical platform lift. First and foremost is that we would need to have a concrete base that is 5 by 5, and that's necessary to set the elevator or the lift upon. So the other thing that you want to consider is a space. So do you have enough space on the side of the staircase? Or that might mean that you might have to remove the handrails from the staircase to fit the device safely in the yard. The installation time for a vertical platform lift is generally longer depending on the vendor and if they have all the necessary parts on hand. You could be waiting a few weeks to a few months to complete the project. And vertical platform lifts also require an external outlet. So you want to take that in consideration when determining the cost of the entire project, because you might need additional electrical work to have that external outlet put in place for the project. So during our virtual walkthroughs, we can also help address modifications to your home. The most frequent question that we have and that people approach us with are for bathroom modifications. to make it more accessible. And so we review the different setups for bathing and showering and what the different options could be, whether a walk-in shower or whether you could use a barrier-free shower. And even if a portable shower is something that you would be able to use in your home. Our conversations also include discussions about toilet heights, vanity styles, and the placement of grab bars and why or why not they might not be an appropriate adaptation to your bathroom. We also talk about and review different options of durable medical equipment that could be used within your bathroom environment. The virtual walkthroughs of your home can also review general home modifications, including reviewing doorway widths and accessibility. According to the ADA, accessible doorway width is 32 inches. However, that may not always be possible in your home, so we review the different options that might be available for your space. Another frequent question that we get is about stair glides and in regards to how you could set it up in your home or how you would set it up. So we're happy to help you to determine if a stair glide is a possible solution for you in your house. So although the information that I presented was a general overview, each home is different and everyone's needs are different. We are happy to assist you throughout this process. Feel free to reach out to any of us. And thank you so much for taking the time for joining our session today. At this time, I'd like to introduce you to my colleague, Aaron Young.
Thank you, Tejal, for that presentation. Hello, everybody. My name is Aaron Young. I'm the Equipment Loan Coordinator here at ALS United. And today I'll be speaking with you about the Equipment Loan Program. So just a little bit about my backstory, because I don't have the medical background, how I ended up at ALS United. So my mother was diagnosed with ALS back in 2008. Like many other stories, it took 6-8 months to diagnose. She passed away in 2011 when I was 18. And from there, we were involved in, walk teams. I volunteered with the Golden West chapter in California, moved to New York, started volunteering here. And through my experience here at this chapter or this organization, I saw how dedicated and impactful everybody was. So I was really inspired, and here I am. So what we do with the Equipment Loan Program. So we provide durable medical equipment and assistive technology to the ALS community through our 3 loan closets. We fill the gaps when the wait times to receive items from insurance are extensive, insurance doesn't cover equipment, the person with ALS does not have insurance, or just the item is unavailable elsewhere, which we're currently experiencing with power patient lifts. There's a manufacturer shortage, and in response to that, we get an influx of requests for people who can't get them. So these are some of the common places where we really assist. The equipment we provide. So for durable medical equipment, we have an assortment of items from power wheelchairs, manual wheelchairs, transport wheelchairs, tilt manual wheelchairs, recline manual wheelchairs, hospital beds, alternating pressure mattresses, tilt rolling shower chairs, sliding transfer tub benches, power patient lifts, lift chairs, Roho cushions. And we generally have all of these items available. Some items are more in demand than others, so there could be shortages at times, but we generally have a good turnaround on donations. So we might not have an item like the tilt and space manual wheelchair. That's an item that is less common, but it's in fairly high demand. So we might not have it at this point, but in 2 weeks, a month, we may. So items are always coming and going, and we generally have all of these items available. Assistive technology. I'm just going to touch the surface of this, as Ben will be going more in depth. But these are some items that we provide. We send these from the office. the turnaround time on these is, less than a week generally. We'll send it out day of or very shortly after receiving the request through UPS. And some of the low tech items we have are letterboards, T-bar stylus pointers, laser pointers, boogie boards, voice amplifiers. And for high tech, we have eye gaze devices. These are more in demand. We tend to have a wait list. Like I said, we do have a pretty steady flow of donations, but there tends to be a wait time, but fairly short. How our process works. This is how we go from you discovering that you need a particular equipment to you receiving it. So it all starts with a medical professional's recommendation. Sometimes it could just arise from a conversation with myself, Tejal, or Ben. In those conversations, we might be able to identify something that could be useful or you might be in need of. And although I might have that knowledge or wherewithal, in the end, it comes down to the medical professional. We recommend the occupational therapist or a physical therapist recommendation, but any medical professional is fine. And this is the form that we ask the medical professional to fill out. It's very basic information. This just ensures that we can get you the item to the proper location, the item that you requested. We ask for the patient's height, weight, so it's a suitable size. Things like what side of the joystick should be on, left or right. So this essentially ensures that we are going to get you something that is going to work out for you. Okay, so after receiving the request form, the loan closet is notified. From there, we have techs at our loan closet, and they will pull the desired equipment you want. They'll make sure it's at the size that was requested, and they will reach out. They will get in contact with you to coordinate a scheduled date and time. They'll make sure you're available. If not, then they'll reschedule for another time. And here's just a little example of that form. This portion is kind of it specifies the equipment you want. So you see we have the tilt recline power wheelchair. The person is 5'8", 170 pounds. So they requested the power tilt recline, 18 by 16. That's referring to the seat width or the seat dimensions, not just width. So all of these, all of this information helps provide our techs with the information to get you something that's going to work out. On the day of the delivery, so when our delivery guys come, they'll bring the equipment to a convenient place. If it's a 3-story walk-up and you're getting a power wheelchair, unfortunately, it's going to be an issue. We do try to, work with various setups and be flexible, but we have to, treat our delivery guys with a certain level of respect. And aside from bringing it to your place and placing it where you'd like, they'll provide you with the basic instruction on the uses. They're not going to get in depth. If you really want to learn this equipment thoroughly, we recommend getting in contact with the occupational therapist, physical therapist, and they'll really be able to help you out. But our delivery guys will show you the basic functions. For instance, on the left here, you see a hospital bed controller. So they'll show you which buttons do what. For instance, the top buttons move the head, the bottom or the middle buttons move the feet, the bottom buttons move the entire bed in a horizontal position, up or down. So they'll at least give you that information. From there, we recommend getting in contact with the OT/PT, and they'll be able to help you out. Okay, after you receive the equipment, you'll be hearing from me. You'll be hearing from me a lot, all the time, whether you like it or not. But obviously, if I'm bothering you, I'll leave you alone. So follow up, it'll be within a week after you receive the equipment. I'm essentially just checking in, seeing how it's working out for you, seeing if you need any assistance. And a lot of times through that conversation again, you might notice something. Oh, now that I have this, I thought it might be helpful if I have this, or I might hear you say something that insinuates the need for something else. In that instance, we're going back to the OTPT with the form and filling it out again. And yeah, this could happen several times. And it's the same process each time. So when you're ready to return the item, if you're ready to return an item, all you have to do is reach out to any of us, the nurse, a clinician that's involved with us, or myself, and we'll set up a pickup. Pickup times are similar to delivery times. And I will also add that loans are indefinite. And what I mean by indefinite is I'm never going to reach out asking, haggling you to get this equipment back. When we loan it out to you, it's yours indefinitely. Ideally, we get it back when you're done with it, but you're never going to hear from me pestering you about it. If you hear from me, it's going to be just making sure everything's okay. And these are our 3 loan closets that operate in Long Island, the boroughs, Lower Hudson Valley, and Jersey. So in Long Island, we work with National Seating and Mobility. And what I mean by we work with, they have their own operation, and within their operation is our inventory. And they maintain our equipment. They pull it for you when it's pickup time, delivery time. They deliver it. So they're very helpful, and we work with them regularly. Our Long Island closet is our largest loan closet. It's our busiest. Things are coming and going constantly. And that loan closet, they service Long Island as well as the 5 boroughs. For Lower Hudson Valley, we have 101 Mobility. This is our smallest operation, but all of the items that are in Long Island, we have them at our Lower Hudson Valley 101 Mobility. So, it might be less of the item, but like I said, items are coming and going constantly. So we might only have 6, 7 power wheelchairs at 101 Mobility and 20 plus at National Seating on Long Island. But if 2 or 3 are going out at 101 Mobility, I can guarantee you 2 or 3 are coming back in fairly soon. So although it's small, we have all the same equipment. It's a small team. They're very reliable, very communicative. And for 101 Mobility, they service Westchester, Rockland, Putnam, Orange, and they also service Dutchess, Sullivan, Ulster. Those are a bit further out, so the delivery time could be, a week longer, but we make it happen. So they have quite the territory up north. For New Jersey, we work with National Seating as well. They're located in Whippany, and they service North Jersey, Central Jersey. This is our in-between closet. Fairly large size, well managed. It's a great team. They're always available, reliable, and yeah, they service anywhere from 15 to 20 items right now per week. So they're moving for us. And here are some statistics on our output for 2023 as well as 2024 thus far. So this is our durable medical equipment statistics. And as you can see, transport wheelchairs are in high demand. Power wheelchairs are a very common item. For things like transport wheelchairs and manual wheelchairs, those tend to be items people can get through insurance. So we do provide them, but we really come in handy for things like the power wheelchairs, the lift chairs, items that might not be covered, or our monthly payments and things like that. So yeah, we're putting out items regularly, and we expect to continue to build. And here's our statistics for our assistive technology. Voice amplifier is very popular. Ben is constantly programming, sending out eye tracking devices. It's an amazing device. He'll get more in depth on that, but this is a very helpful item that we provide. More low tech stuff like call bells. It's essentially a doorbell that one person can have a speaker in another room on another level, and the person with ALS can just press this button. And we even have ultra light switches for that button to make it very sensitive touch. So it's very low tech, but it comes in handy. It provides a little bit of freedom and independence. And yeah, so these are some of the general items that we send out from our office for assistive technology. And just wanted to say thank you. That's the end of my presentation. If you have any questions, feel free to ask. And
Good
here's
afternoon.
actually,
Thank you.
I'm sorry,
What's
Ben, I
that?
just wanted to answer this one question briefly.
Okay.
So I was asked, what is the general turnaround time to receive equipment? That varies by loan closet. It tends to be 2 to 3 weeks. If you're a bit further out or if we're busy, it could push back to 4 weeks. But for all 3 loan closets, I generally quote a 2 to 3 week turnaround, or I will let you know otherwise if we have other things going on or issues that have arisen. And I apologize, Ben. I'll now leave this off to you.
Okay. And we will be taking questions at the end of the presentation for all three of us, Tejal, Aaron, and myself. I am Ben Lehman. I oversee the accessibility services at ALS United Greater New York. Tejal is the key contact for home access. Aaron is the key contact for the equipment loan, and I'm the key contact for assistive technology and communication, but we all mix and match. So if you were to reach any of us, we could get you into the right direction. And here's a quick slide on our contact information, but I think our information is available at the on the Summit website. So going to be talking, and there you have it. It's basically anything, piece of equipment that's going to help someone with a disability increase, maintain, or improve their functional capabilities. For the most part, assistive technology is really focusing on what you can do, not what you can do. We want to know about what are the abilities that you do have. So from a low tech to high tech standpoint, you have letterboards and you have eye tracking devices. Aaron made reference to. We have both of these in the loan closet. And I will just mention now that anything that I have checked off with that orange checkbox is an item that we have in our loan closet. So here is a low-tech display of.
You have to
Yes.
share your screen. I'm sorry to interrupt.
Yes, I thought that I had done that. Can you see it now?
Yes.
Thank you. Not sure what happened there. Okay, so here's where I was. So these are items that work with a letterboard. You know, typically, if you can isolate a finger, you can point to the different letters and spell something out. If you have difficulty isolating a finger, you might be able to clasp a pointer. This is a T-bar pointer. It actually has a stylus at the point, so you can use this on a smartphone or an iPad, and you can use it on a letterboard as well to point to letters. If you're not able to move your hand over different areas of a letterboard, you might be able to hold onto a laser pointer and point the dot towards the different letters on a letterboard. And if moving your hand is difficult, the laser pointer can be attached to a baseball hat, so that by moving your head, again, if you have that capability, and you can, again, move that red dot by just moving your head a little bit left or right or up or down. All of this is beneficial to have had a conversation with your OT and PT to make sure these are skills and these items, well, not the baseball hat, but all the other items are items we have in the loan closet. As soon as you start to utilize assistive technology, there's going to be some changes. So, in a presentation like this or a normal speech, we're speaking at about 140 words a minute. Might be a little faster here in New York compared to other parts of the country. But when you're using a letterboard, it may slow down to about 15 words a minute. So the efficiency has diminished, but the effectiveness, the opportunity to continue to be able to communicate is still there, even using low tech. There's even an opportunity to use a Morse code system. Now, not everybody may remember physics back in high school when it was introduced. It was in my school. Not everybody gets it. But you can point to the different options of a dot and a dash. Instead of speaking dot, dash, dash, dot, you can use your finger to just point to the dot or the dash to make the choice of what letter you wanted. Many options, and our objective is really just to put them out there in front of you to see which one you think might work best. As Aaron mentioned, we do have eye tracking devices, and this is a terrific opportunity for communication if somebody has also lost the ability to use their hands, which could be used on an iPad or an iPhone, Android phone for speaking, or to access the web and email. Another assistive technology is a USB headphone where you can plug that into a computer and working with a team of professionals or on your own, bank your voice. This is important if you still have a clear speech that's understandable. You can spend what now is about 30 minutes of time going through a process on the computer to store your voice. A few years ago, that was 3 hours of time. So that technology has really moved forward tremendously. But what you have the opportunity to do is hold on to the sounds of your voice. And when that gets downloaded onto a speech device, when you type any message out, it will speak it sounding like your voice. You also have the opportunity to record phrases. That's called message banking. And the session right after this one, beginning at 1:30, Trinity, who works with Bridging Voice, a partner in providing services for people with ALS, specifically implementing technology for communication. We're at the summit beginning at 1:30, specifically on banking your voice. So if you want to learn more about that, stay tuned. Bridging Voice, by the way, is an organization with people that I have worked with for many years, experts in speech, occupational therapy, and computer technology, and they are able to assist more deeply than we can. We pretty much get you the device and get you started to help implement that technology. Assistive technology touches many realms, not just communication. So here are a couple of utensils related to eating and assistive devices related to that. This is a non-skid plate with a rim on it so that capturing the food on a fork or a spoon might be made a little easier. There is high-tech robotic arms that will bring the food to your mouth, but going along with the low-tech component, there are adapted utensils and a mug that's easier to hold. The upper left-hand corner is what's called a universal cuff. So you can slip in a utensil and you're not manipulating your fingers or hand to operate it. It's really more your shoulder and forearm that's moving your hand towards the plate and the food. Assistive technology comes up in the home. You know, a simple lamp that you could purchase that just touching anywhere on the lamp will turn the light on and off, all the way up to smart home technology where speaking, you know, okay, Google, turn on the light, turn on the kitchen light. You can enable this technology, and many people do this on their own. We can help walk you through that, what items you might want to get for that. And I'll take this moment to just highlight that should you not have the clear speech that would continue to operate OK Google or Alexa or the Apple Home system, the communication device could be an iPad or it could be an eye tracking device. So long as Alexa, turn on the light, and the smart home technology will hear that and respond to it. There's more, but just to highlight, the key goal that we're looking for is education. We want people to be more aware of the range of items that are available to assist you in typical daily living skills, interacting with technology and communication. If we have that equipment available, we want it to be in your hands. But the other piece of what we're doing is helping people understand what's available. And here's a good example. The operation of a mouse is fairly complex. There's a lot going on in the hand to operate a mouse, and yet that's the typical way we interact with a computer. By moving the mouse, it depends on clasping it, moving it, and then using one finger to click on the left or the right button. That can be difficult if you begin to experience some limitation in hand function. But those capabilities of the mouse can be separated. So one hand, your left hand, for example, could clasp and move the mouse, and the click could be with your other hand. And that's a switch, a button that you would put under your right hand. You're moving the mouse with your left hand and you use your right hand to click. That switch could be placed under your foot. You're looking for a couple of body movements that you can control in a continuous way. Clearly, these are conversations you may want to have with your OT and PT to make sure that that's for tiring yourself out. But the technology is available to work with you if that's a possibility. If moving the mouse is difficult, this is in effect an upside down mouse. The trackball mouse has the rolling piece of a mouse. Well, they don't have a rolling ball anymore, but they did when they began. By placing your hand on top of the trackball and rolling the palm of your hand or your fingers over the ball, you're controlling the cursor on the screen. Same with a Bluetooth head mouse. That section, that horizontal section, is not covering your eyes. It's basically going in front of your forehead, but by moving your head a little bit left and right and up and down, almost like a signal of no or a signal of yes, you're controlling the cursor on the screen. So lots of alternatives instead of using the mouse. And it's not just about technology. Here's clothing, adapted clothing. You can do a search on the web for adapted clothing, find a number of different stores that will do that. These are, instead of using a zipper or a button, it's replaced by a magnet. And there's a number of other companies that have adapted clothing that's a little easier to take off and put on. It may be difficult to get around or walk around a garden. But in these types of items, you're in effect bringing the garden to you, making it a little easier to get to. You could raise or lower or get a raised garden tools that could be used from a distance instead of being right down at the ground. Adapted skiing or adapted sports. University of New Hampshire has a great program on adapted sports. And if you have skied or haven't skied in a while, just to let you know, Windham Mountain has an adapted ski program. If you were going, somebody with great upper body strength could do this type of skiing themselves, but without that upper body strength, they have guides that will work with you, in effect, bringing you down the mountain, but you're still on the mountain. In the bathroom, there's the infrared technology that we see in many new bathrooms that are created in public spaces. You can have the same effect in your own home. The issue with the soap dispenser is you want to be careful about putting in soap that's too thick. That sometimes can clog the system. So that's a conversation with each of these companies, and they often provide the type of soap that works with that system. And the water, the limitation with the water is it's a preset temperature, but this is something that's readily available. Where does all of this come from? Yeah, assistive technology in effect started hundreds of years ago. There were wheelchairs and glasses were developed, and those are effectively assistive technology that we're so used to. We don't think of it as assistive technology, but they are certainly helping people with a disability or a limitation. Permobile and Quantum are two of the top manufacturers of power wheelchairs. If you think about it, 25 and 35 years ago was really not that long ago. And they have made significant inroads in making the adaptations that are necessary for people with extensive limitations with tilting and reclining and even the elevating function to raise and lower the seat. Tejal made reference to the ADA. That too, it really isn't that long ago that the ADA was implemented in 1990, and it has become a part of our society. Fortunately, I will take a moment to just reinforce that did not come into discussion in 1989. That was many years of advocacy by people with disabilities and their families, advocating with our government, local governments, and private enterprise. Apple Computer, Microsoft, Android have all made significant adaptations in buildings. And as Tejal mentioned, we apply those guidelines, even though it's not a requirement in a private house. But I wanted to highlight a service that we provide that if you have an interest in advocating, if you want something changed, speak to your care services team, because we have a program of advocating in Washington, in Albany. And really, this is one of the ways that things get done, by letting the powers that be know that there are a number of people affected by ALS, and there are a lot of laws that need to be written or adjusted to make better accommodations for people with disabilities. The computer technology also started just around 1980. It's really not that long ago. What when we sent people to the moon in '69, that was a room full, probably a gymnasium full of massive computers. The personal computer started around 1980 and then has become a phone that basically has more power than the early stages of computers. But it's those chips, those computer chips, that have enabled so many other things to be developed in assistive technology. Most people are not aware of a lot of the items that I mentioned here. We have conversations just to really open people's eyes to what's potentially available. We have some of those available in the loan closet. Our services are really focused on the individuals with ALS and their families. We are connected with our care services team members throughout the territories. We are in constant contact with you and your family, our care services team, as well as the clinic. A lot of times we get referrals from outside our organization. We just want to respond to any of the needs that you have. And as Aaron made reference to, we are listening, because what you may be starting with and talking about a lift chair may open a door to possibility of having difficulty or concerns about getting in and out of your home, and that becomes a referral to Tejal or some of the assistive technology that I have discussed. So again, Tejal, Aaron, and I are available by email, by texting, by phone, and I think we're all going to come on now and be available for any questions that you may have. Thank you for your attention, and I hope we've expanded your knowledge of all of these assistive or accessibility services here at ALS United Greater New York.
Oh, sorry. Thank you guys for that very informative presentation. Going to read some of the questions if I can find them. Okay, question 1. Can we apply for a grant if we already had a lift installed?
I'll take that one. You can certainly bring it to our attention. You know, we have limited funds for our grants, and we try to get it to individual families to make sure each family is taken care of. But if we have funds available, it would certainly be under consideration.
It's always worth a conversation.
Thank you. Next question. My wife sees an ALS doctor in Philadelphia. We live in Kendall Park, New Jersey, in the New Brunswick, New Jersey area. Can she request equipment from ALS Greater New York?
Yes.
Yes. Yes, that's our territory. You're welcome to and encouraged to go to the doctor and medical team that you want to pursue, but you live in our catchment area, so we would want you to have the equipment if we can be helpful.
Okay, thank you. Next question. Is it advisable to be trained on the eye and other communication technology before needed so that the person can ask questions and learn the tech?
It's a great opportunity. If you have that opportunity to have access to an eye tracking device before you need it, it's an excellent opportunity to kind of learn the ways of eye tracking. Just like picking up technology in general, some people pick it up very quickly and other people have to work at it before it feels comfortable. We try to have our devices intended for people who need it, whose communication is limited, computer in any other form. If there was a circumstance where somebody needed it to test out to compare it to another device, we may be able to make it available on a short-term basis. But our focus really is, because we have limited devices, we have more requests than we have devices, we try to make sure that the devices go to people who can use it as soon as they receive it.
Thank you. Next question. I saw earlier this week that Apple is making eye gaze available on any iPad or smartphone without the need for any added accessories. How would you access this app?
This is exciting news. I think it just came out yesterday, so somebody is on top of the news. This is exciting. This is something that I'm sure all of us in the field have been waiting for a long time. Right now, they require it through insurance as a speech generating device through Tobii Dynavox. Apple seems to now be saying they will be making this function available to the public. All you'll need to add is an eye tracking, a USB connection to the iPad that has eye tracking capability. Those are in the $500 range, and it's probably at a higher end iPad, the iPad Pro. I haven't seen the specs on how this is going to be disseminated, but that technology already exists in the iPad. It just hasn't been available to an eye tracking attachment through private purchase. You have to do it through insurance and through Tobii Dynavox for now. So exciting news, and we will absolutely be letting people know when this.
Hey, thank you, Ben. Next question.
When this hits.
Can you provide video training? I don't know exactly what this means, but it says, can you provide video training before providing?
Before what?
It says, can you provide video training before providing? Communication devices.
Before providing.
Communication devices.
If I mean, have a talk to us. Email me or call, and we'll see what the issue is. Kind of hard to train on something if it's not in front of you, but I can certainly describe some of the steps that go into utilizing. In effect, what Tejal was saying at the beginning of this presentation is we want to give you a heads up on all of the types of equipment and accessibility issues that you might be encountering. Kind of gives you a little bit of control as you're dealing with vendors or evaluations, so that you have a little bit of knowledge about the vocabulary and the various possibilities. So I think in that regard, it would be useful to have an idea.
Okay, so
I know one of the questions that often comes up is, how do you click if you use, what's that? I'm sorry, I was just going to say, one of the questions that often comes up is, how do you click if you're using an eye tracking device, on a mouse, this physical button that you press? How do you click using an eye tracking? So this is part of the conversation that we could have with you before you actually have the device.
Sorry, you're breaking up a little, so I wasn't sure if you were finished.
Okay.
So I believe that was the last question. Thank you guys again. And do you want to just remind everyone of the Bridging Voice time? Is it at 1 or 1:30? Oh, it's 1 o'clock now. So.
1:30.
Yeah, we actually, okay, so Bridging Voice is a session that comes on at 1:30. Actually, yeah, Bridging Voice, and Trinity is the speech language pathologist, I think, that's presenting there. So you'll learn about voice banking. I think that's what she's focusing on. I just wanted to kind of share a question that I got is, what if there's a tree 10 feet in front of my steps, big tree, would I still be able to have a ramp built? Tejal, do you want to just kind of describe how we might
Yeah, in terms of
handle
ramp
that?
setup and installation, in terms of the tree, there could be a possibility, and this arises more frequently than not, that there is landscaping obstacles that we might face when considering a ramp. So in some instances, it might require removing a tree, although if the tree is older with a bigger base and roots and things, it may not be an option. So we try to find other ways around it, perhaps even building the ramp so it comes before it, or building around it and goes around it, depending on the setup of the home. So we have to get creative in the recommendations. I would say that coming into a session or for a video walkthrough and thinking this is exactly how I want it to look like, as I mentioned during the presentation, it's really important to have that flexible mindset. And so that way it allows us to be creative in creating solutions for the home.
And another question I got was, do you have stair glides in the loan closet? Aaron, do you want to?
Yeah. So we don't keep stair glides in the loan closet. The reason being is they're generally unique items, so it depends on the length of your steps, whether it's straight or whether it's curved. There's also issues with, core strength and things where for us, it's not something that we would keep with us, but instead just have anyone who's donating per se, just keep them on a list. And when we hear of somebody requesting one, I'll go through that list. I'll get the specs on what they're looking for exactly. And through our list, I'll see if we have anything that matches up. If we see something that could potentially work, what I do is get the two families in contact, in which it would be a direct family to family transfer that we would not be a part of.
I'll just add that stair glides, if it's a straight staircase, it can be rented. So that's another option. I know one of the reasons people think of the loan closet is not to have to pay the $2,500 to purchase a stair glide. And if it is a curve in the stairs, it could be like a $9,000 project. The curve is what makes it custom and more expensive. But if it's a straight staircase, they rent for about $150 a month. And so that may be an option you want to go through. And then one last question was, what's the cost of using the loan closet?
Free. It's at no charge.
Okay.
Okay, so thank you guys again. And the next sessions, if you would like to join, are on voice banking and respiratory therapies. And if there are no other questions, thank you to Ben, Tejal, and Aaron. And I hope you all found this informative, and any questions, as they've been saying, please reach out to us.
Thanks, Chris.
Thank you, Chris.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone.